error occurred. Oh, hey, hey, hey.
Hi,
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 Demi. How are you?
hi, everybody out there.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Dating Differently with Demi and Dr. Conti. We're so happy to be here as always. So, listen, we have a good one for you. We have a really good one for you tonight because people have been asking us. We've been talking about it being online, and and Demi's gotten all the questions and all the fears. So we are here to put your hearts to rest and to calm you down on the whole dating online experience.
Yeah.
All right, so listen. Demi and I both have come together. We have combined both of our expertise to create a strategic roadmap that will help you to prepare for healthy love so that you can confidently choose with clarity and sustain the right relationship. And so that's all definitely needed if you're going to be able to date online. So our podcast topic today is the good, the bad, and the ugly of dating online. So we're going to talk all about it. We welcome everybody here. Share, share, share. Let everybody know we are here, we are on. And so we're going to talk about those things. And in the reality of it is online dating has changed how people really meet today, right, Demi? I mean, it really has changed how people actually can meet. And so there are some good, some bad, and some ugly about it. And we're going to definitely talk about those, all of that. And please chime in and let us know what your comments are, your questions are. But let's talk. I always start with the good. So anytime I deal with a client, I start my first session off with give me your good, your bad, and your ugly since we talked last. Because there's always good, bad, and ugly in everything. Everything is not all good, not all bad, or all ugly. So I want to start, and we're going to talk about, I'm going to throw it to Demi in a minute, the good about dating online. Like I said, first of all, it's a powerful tool. It's a powerful tool to use and to be intentional and have emotional discipline. So the best part to me is it expands your world. You get to meet people from all over the world if you want to. I I prefer, and Demi and we've have our standards. We really want people to be local, but it's up to you. You can meet people from all over the world. It's amazing, all over different type of industries. You can meet people with different types of backgrounds. You can meet people with different social circles. You can meet as many people as you want online. And so a lot of times, particularly if you are, so to speak, stage fright, have social anxiety about meeting people, it's a safeguard where you can meet them right in your comfort of your own home. And so, also, you want to remember that when you're dating online and you're dating intentionally, it actually is a clearer way to be able to identify what you want. You can filter certain things and certain values. You can ask questions earlier. You can decide what's going to align with you, what doesn't align with you. So it is just a lot of good things about it. I know people are afraid of it, and I know people get really, really nervous. So we really hope tonight that we can answer a lot of questions and calm a lot of those nerves. All right. How about Jimmy? What you got for him for the good, the bad, and the ugly of dating online?
You said it is an opportunity to meet people But I do want to say, because it can also be confusion, frustration, sometimes disappointment, but there's a stigma. There's a stigma that's associated with meeting people online. And I say that because those of us that are in our age, or in our age group, in our generation, those of us that are divorced after marriage after so many years, that have worked for a long time, and career women or men, and hadn't started in this bracket of dating differently, or if we were empty nesters, there's
Mhm.
a stigma to it. And I say that because back then, when you met people, it was at church, it
Mhm.
was, at the club, it was at the park, at the grocery store. I
Mhm.
was talking to my sweetheart, and he said someone he was dating online before, because that stigma that's to it, he said they made up a story that they actually met at the grocery store,
Right.
even what aisle they met on, because of that. It's not that romance that we're used to, like Barbara Cartland or the Harlequin romance, where you see someone and you meet and your eyes connect and you just know that's the one that you fell in love with. And it's also not the same story that we would have, as we're sitting down maybe with our grandchildren later
Mhm.
on, and they say, Madia, Papa, how did y'all meet? And we say, like in my story, he was the 22nd guy that I met online and went on a date with. That doesn't sound
Well,
great.
I was talking to someone at the doggy park today. Actually, she had said 33. I said, no, it wasn't 33. She's like, she
So,
said 33. So
so
your
I
22 went to 33.
and that's okay too, but that's kind of the stigma behind it. And so, like you said, those key points where, you just have access to people outside your normal circles. Just you have the ability to meet people with similar interests and values. You really have a second chance at love after a divorce or life
Mhm.
transitions.
Mhm.
And so, I think you went on to say, if you're clear about what you want, and you're using the dating apps with purpose, not just kind of scrolling for fun, then it's
Mhm.
absolutely going to work.
Mhm.
And I can honestly say, so I brought up the 22, there were 21 other people that I met, right?
Mhm.
Some of them were nice people, but they just weren't a good match. And I think part of that is, and I know we're going to talk about it, or you're going to talk about it with us, is really having the standards, having your boundaries, knowing your non negotiables, as I say, standing 10 toes down,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
in, what your beliefs are, what your values are, and what a healthy relationship looks like to you.
Right.
And absolutely, it's the best thing ever. It's the
Mhm.
best thing ever.
Good, good, good. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So, is it back over here to me?
Well, we're just talking back and forth. I
I,
can
you
tell you
know,
some other good
what
parts, but I want us to kind of not miss all of these things that
one of the things that you just said was exactly true about that. I'm always talking about my five stages of vetting. And so if you've not watched it before, if you don't know what they are, I'm going to share them really quickly because you need to use this. I don't care if you're dating online, I don't care if you're dating offline. This is just what it takes to actually attract the person that is aligned with you. So, desire, you have to know what it is you desire. So, desire is what I like, and that's you. What is it that I like? Name 5 or 6 to 10 things that you like, that you want in someone. That's a desire. We talked about it before. What's the difference between a standard and a desire? But I just want to break them down. So a desire is what I like. A standard is what I require in my
Mm.
relationship or what I want. And then a boundary is how I expect to be treated. So you need to have your desires, what I like. You need to have your standards, what I require. You need to have your boundaries, what I expect how I expect to be treated, and then your non-negotiables, what I will never accept in a relationship. And the last step, the fifth, is patience. And patience is the time that it's going to take, that I take to observe the identity, or to identify deceit.
Mhm.
And when you have all of that, you got on all the armor, you go and you date confidently, whether it's online or offline, because you're confidently saying, I know what I want, I know what I desire, I know what my standards are, I know what my non-negotiables are. And you are really literally vetting to see if you're going to find someone that's aligned with you. You guys feel the same way, you want the same things, you're looking for the same things, and all of that. That's good. But now again, there is some bad. There is some bad on dating online. And one of the,
Yeah.
you know, so even with the good, even with the psychological good, and me being a clinician, I often have to remind people that it is good things that's emotional and psychological that we have to look at when we're dealing with these online dating or dating, period. And so the same thing when it comes to the emotional and the psychological for dating online. So let me say something about the brain. All right. So the brain starts rewarding your connections. The good thing about online dating is that you get to talk to them, you get to text them. You may have not met them in person yet. And Demi and I tell you, we
Mhm.
we do it differently. And I've actually changed some of the ways that I've done it as a result of us going through this process together. And this is some of the reasons why, because our brains start to connect with people really quickly if you're talking a lot. So she's going to tell you about that, that timeline of not giving all those talks and weeks of talking. But at first, I was thinking, and I told Jimmy this, I need to talk to him because I may not want to meet him. I may need to find out if I want to meet him first. But what happens when you do that? You get those good morning texts. Good morning. How are you doing? Beautiful. How's your morning going? And then you get those the how was your lunch today? And then you get those, all of those things, and you start thinking, this is some consistency. But is it really consistency? Seeing, hearing, getting a text. Anybody can do a text on time or scheduled for a few weeks. But if you haven't had a chance to really meet the person, the brain starts releasing this dopamine at the same time, in these chemicals that's showing pleasure and reward, because you may have not had anybody texting you. This is some of the bad. You may have not had anybody constantly being in contact with you. And so every time there's a text, you text back quickly. He's like, oh, let me text back quickly. Every time you say, let me see what's going on. And then your brain starts associating that person with comfort and emotional safety. And that could be dangerous. The problem with that is feelings feelings are being built. Feelings are being built without evidence. And we tell you all the time, dating is gathering information. And so we have to, as women, we talked about not locking in so quickly last week. Men do it too sometimes, but I know women are emotional. And so we start locking in fairly quickly. And so someone said yes. And so you don't want to, the problem with that is you don't want to start locking in with your emotional feelings, because you're feeling connected without being connected in real life. You're feeling secure without actually being secure. And so those are the things that we'll swing back around to, but those are a couple of the bad that I want to talk about, as we have to watch it when we're learning to get to know people and we're dating online, we're gathering information, and we don't want to lock in so fast and allow our emotions to get so entangled. Right, Dim?
It does. That temper comes with expectations. And so you talked about, talking to people and texting them. And I think someone said it in the chat too. Meeting via phone first was better, but I'm going to make sure that I'm really clear with this. When you connect with someone online and you match, when I'm saying connect, when you match with them online, the immediate thing that you want to do, you exchange phone numbers unless you're on an app where you can call virtually from that app. And then you do a virtual meeting immediately.
Immediately.
You do a virtual meeting. That means that's a FaceTime, that's a WhatsApp. You want to virtually meet that person because you want to know, is that the same person or picture that I'm looking at online? Because one of those bad things is
Yes.
maybe they're not who
Yes.
they say they are. At least
Mhm.
they don't look like those pictures do because of
Mhm.
filters or because they've used someone else's pictures.
Mhm.
So you want
Catfish is what they call it. They be catfishing you.
So you want to do a virtual meeting. It doesn't mean that you have to spend 30 minutes talking on the phone to the person virtually, but you can introduce to each other that way. And then what I do is if a conversation doesn't happen where we're making plans to meet each other in person within the first 7 days, they're out
Mhm.
if
Mhm.
they live local. Now, if they're not local and they can't meet you within 2 weeks,
Mhm.
they're out.
Mhm.
Move on to the next
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
It doesn't matter what the excuse is. Doesn't matter what the excuse is. If we're not making an appointment to meet in the first 7 days, I'm not interested. And
Mhm.
they're frankly not that interested either.
Mhm. Mhm.
They're
Yep.
not.
Yep.
And I wanna bring up one other bad thing I think you hadn't talked about, and that's rejection.
Mhm.
And you talked about getting that emotional connection so quickly because we're talking over the phone. It's hard to be rejected on either
Mhm.
side, but know that it's going to happen because there are going to be those that you decide is not a good match.
Mhm.
They're not a good match. I remember it just so happened that I met someone kinda at the beginning of the week, and so we weren't going to meet until the end of the week. So that's a long 7 days. And we met in person, but that connection you have over the phone always
Mhm.
doesn't transfer
To
to
in person.
person.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
when I met him, I realized, and men do it too, they filter their pictures.
I was surprised when
Oh my gosh,
look, this has been a learning experience for both of us. I had no idea that men filter pictures, but they do.
they do. And some way we were virtually talking, I just missed it. I also met someone that was 10 or 15 years older than his picture,
Yeah.
which
So,
was out of my age range.
mhm, mhm. I want to pop this up, this if I may. It says Paula Ross says, if I can't plan a meet and greet within a couple of weeks, I lose interest. And absolutely. But this is what we're saying. It needs to be less than
2
a
weeks.
couple of weeks. So
Yeah,
let me give you an example. Let's just say you start talking to someone and then you've been talking to them consistently for 2 weeks.
yeah.
2 weeks. Checking on you, complimenting you, making you feel seen, making you feel heard, and your guard starts to drop. But then they disappear for 3 days. You
Mhm.
haven't talked to him, you haven't heard. You already like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on? Were we just talking every day?
Yeah.
And so now you're starting to feel anxious, your nervous system starting to go on alarm, and now you're confused. And so you're not trying to figure out, you're trying to figure out, okay, what changed? Well, nothing changed. You spent a lot of time getting emotionally attached, and there was no stability there. So one of the things that we're suggesting, and this is just based on experience and to be able to help I guess you say, avoid some of the things that we've seen, is if someone is really interested in it, go ahead. This is why the 22, when we talk about the 22, this is why it was 22, because she met them quickly. Go ahead, if particularly if it's a gentleman and they have not asked to meet you in within a week, it's out. We're not going to talk another 2 weeks. Yeah, you're not going to talk another 2 weeks. In a week, it's there. It's in a week. So if they haven't asked you in a week, and if you're somebody and you're trying to go out with them, and you've, like you said, you've connected, and there is no meet and greet between the time you talk and a week, that is a guideline. That is a guideline that we suggest you move to the next person. And this is another reason why people get disillusioned with the dating online. Remember, you're gathering information, you're learning people, you're dating intentionally, you're figuring out if you're online, that's because you really want to meet somebody. And so don't waste time. This is going to save you time, heartache, and stress and exhaustion.
It is.
Right?
And we're saying 1 week that, you were so nice about it, but I'm the one that
Mhm.
stepped on toes. That is what we coach. That is what we do. It is 1 week. 1 week. That's it. Because you'd be so surprised. You meet them, and I had someone that I was introduced to, and he only wanted to text. He just was kind of like, I don't like talking on the phone. I want to text. He didn't want to do a virtual meet. I just stopped returning his text.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Almost a month later, I actually ran into him and met him on the golf course because a mutual friend, had introduced us, and he happened to be part of our foursome. When he met me, he wanted to, let's have drinks after the round. Let's do this. He wanted to do a lot of talking. And I was like, bro, you lost your opportunity.
Right. Right.
You lost that chance. And I
Mm-hmm.
just stick with it. And I tell you that it really does work, because you will meet people
Mm-hmm.
that, online, again, we're talking about the ugly part or the bad
The
part of
bad
it.
part.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
they'll say they're a certain height, and they're not exactly that height. They have old pictures, and they're 10 or 15 years older. And I know men, I know you all have probably experienced this too. The woman looks like she's, I don't know how the song goes, 5 foot, something else. And she
Uh-huh.
looks completely different.
Right.
And not saying that looks are everything, but I think what that shows
It's deception, though. It's deception. It can be deception.
and it shows the character of a person, because they weren't honest about who they were or
Mhm.
portrayed who they were. And they thought, well, if I talk to you long enough and you start kind of liking me over the phone and we develop this connection, it's not going to matter what I look like when you see me.
Right.
But you
I have exactly. I have a story about that. It was someone that I went out with. He was like okay with FaceTime and surprised to FaceTime, had never done that before. And he's like, I like it. I'm glad you literally look like your pictures. He said, you look better than your pictures. And he went on to tell me that he had talked on the phone for several weeks with someone
yeah.
without FaceTiming and I think that person had the exact intentions that you just said, Demi. They had the intentions of thinking, well, he's going to get to like me, he's going to get to know me, it's not going to matter. And when they went to dinner, he said this was not even the same person that he had been the pictures. It was a different complexion, a different height, a different size, a whole different person. And so he was just too embarrassed. So he literally still paid for dinner. He was better than most people. Still went through with the dinner, and then of course got up and was so disheartening that wow, somebody would do that to me. And they never, he didn't continue. But you have to, it's okay. It's okay to FaceTime. It's matter of fact, and let me say this too. When we talk about it's a taboo, we've had people say, I gotta give them my number to FaceTime. I don't want to give them my number.
Yeah.
It's okay to give your number these days. You're not going to be with them. If they don't want to talk to them anymore, you block them and you keep moving. It's all right. It'll be okay.
Yeah. I was one of those people, and I know there's, different apps. There was an app I used because you didn't have to give out your number, and then I realized everybody can look up my number anyway.
Right.
I mean, people can find out information about you.
Right.
And and I know you said block because I'm a person that'll block or not block. It's whatever you feel comfortable with. It's okay. We talked about that a couple of episodes ago that you all can catch on YouTube. Just where your comfort level is.
Mhm.
And I would also say, I know someone in our chat said they went on 100 dates, 100 plus. Okay.
100 plus.
But I will also say, if you're really with the intention of finding your person, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I'm talking about a long-term relationship, not
Mhm.
just casually dating.
Mhm.
You may miss the right person holding on to the wrong one.
That's right. That's right. You will. You not may. You will. You will. And that is another issue that I have found with my case studies and with clients is that we hold on. We lock in too fast and hold on too long.
Yeah.
Locking in too fast and then don't know how to let it go. Like let it go. You have not, this is not somebody that you haven't spent a lifetime with. You may have known them a month or 2 months or 3 months. Let it go, even if it's 8 months, because remember, you're gathering information. So let's say in 8 months you've done the desire, you've done your vetting, your standards, you've done your boundaries, you've done your non-negotiables. Remember, the fifth stage is patience, because then now you're really into the groove of getting to know each other, and they're being comfortable and you being comfortable. You may find 8 months down the line, like I have, this is not going to be in alignment, and it's okay. It's okay. But if you learn to regulate your emotions,
Yeah.
then you're able to walk away not feeling so depleted and so drained and hurt.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we talked about, I know you talked about ghosting. You talked about people being not being honest about their intentions, the endless texting, but no real dates, and really just an emotional burnout at
Yeah.
times. So
Yeah.
even in this bad part, when you feel emotionally burnt out, take a break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a race. It's up to you. It's up to you. I said last week that because I'm so busy, I don't want it to seem like another job. Like it's like a job. I gotta check, I gotta answer. And I'm honest with people. I let them know, hey, I'm not on here that often. I am being intentional. And so the difference is how active you want to be, but also how intentional you want to be. Because I've had people to contact me, a great, great profile, but they live in Dallas. I know you may feel like Dallas is not far, but to me, I want someone in the city. Or they may live in, I mean, I'm saying in the state, but there are people out of the state. And so because I'm dating intentionally, I will just hit them back, not all the time, but someone who like really, really great profile or whatever, they was nice. I
Yeah.
would say thank you so much for the like. However, I am dating intentionally right now. And I'm in an area of my life where I'm dating intentionally. And so I would prefer to have someone in town. And for me, I always say this. I'm the type of person, if something great happens, I want to celebrate. Hey, it may be spur of the moment. Guess what? I got the contract, or we just did a great book deal, whatever. Or it may be a day and it's like a rough day, like, oh my God, this happened, that happened, a client happened, and this happened, and that. And I'm like, you know what? I just need to go woosah. Let's go just hang out for a minute and relax. So whatever, again, your desires. That's my desire, is to have someone in town. So that's why you have to know what you want. And so it cuts out all of that time if you're being intentional and if you have that clarity.
And I like the way you said that. I call it geographically undesirable.
Undesirable. Yeah,
Um,
geographically undesirable is what we say.
but I just want to throw in, because you said you're not on often.
Mhm.
For those who are kind of passively looking, if you're being intentional, you are ensuring that when you are on and you match, you're quick with connecting. You're
Mm-hmm.
quick with, let's
Yes.
go ahead and meet. You don't let people sit for weeks if you're going to
Yes.
match with them. If you're not on often, then don't match with them when you know they're going to sit for a week or so.
And
I
let's tell them what that means. People, we got people who've not been on Demi, so they
Mhm.
don't understand what match means. So let's that's what this is all about. Because I do know people said I'm afraid, I'm scared to death to get on there. So what match means is, like, for instance, if someone like you put all your preferences down, you want this age, this demographics, education, no kids, what have you, and they have these things with you in common. If you hit like you like them and they hit like that they like you become a match. That's what that means. You're a match. So but again, just because the app says you are a match doesn't mean you are a real match. That's where you have to vet. But like she's saying, don't match with someone who's liking you and you don't like them back to match with them if you already see that they're a smoker and you don't want, that's one thing that you don't want, or they're in Louisiana and that's one thing that you don't want,
Mhm.
or let's say they are in where the demographic that you like and they don't smoke and all of that, and you do like them and you match. Well, if you're not intentional about talking to them, like she said, so what I do is, even though I'm not on there often, I am intentional. So when I do match with someone, we talk. If we're going to meet that week, we're going to meet that week. And if we're not, we're not. So that's what she means by match. We just want to make sure those who are watching, who've never been online, kind of say, what, they're talking French. What does that mean? Everybody matches with me? No, not everybody. And even if they do, you still have to vet.
And there's a lot of people that may for some. And one of the things I was going to do is just tell them, if you're not sure and how that works, that's why we're here. Um, DM us afterwards, send us an email, one of those, because we're talking about the good, the bad,
And
and
the ugly.
have we talked about the ugly?
Not yet. We haven't
I
gotten to
know you
the
did mention catfishing,
ugly.
but this is where you address real, 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 real issues. So this is this is where we hit on it. We hit on some of those areas. We hit on, people dating while emotionally unavailable. I think we talked a little bit about catfishing. That's the
Mm-hmm.
ugly part of it.
Mm-hmm.
But tell us a little bit more. We talked about the video calls and
Yeah.
those that want to avoid those. I
Yeah.
recall a couple of people wanted
Yeah.
to avoid them. And it was so funny. I was talking today to my sweetheart, and I had matched with two people that same day, him and another person.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person had kind of like, "Wait, what do you mean you want a video chat? I can't do that. I'm outside. I'm by the pool." I'm like, what's happening?
What's wrong
And
with that? You can
fumbled
video
with his
chat by the
phone
pool.
and accidentally answered, and I could see it was a much older person
Mm-hmm.
than, what his pictures portrayed.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really and then we have the other guy that we talk about all the time, and Conti and I laugh about it because he always says, when I said, "Let's video chat," and he's like, "Lord,
Oh
I'm
Lord! Like, we got a video chat. Like, we got a video. Yes, we got a video chat. And
when
I
he
had
didn't."
one. Yeah, I had one that wouldn't video chat. He kept saying he was busy. He was working. Let's try a different time. He wasn't who he said he was.
Yeah, and the person who said, "Oh Lord, I don't want to do that," you know what? I just never called him again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It was okay.
Simple, simple. And I think that's the good part. That's the good part about online dating. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm vetting you, you're vetting me.
Yeah.
And so it's okay. So some of the ugly things is that, again, like I said, because you are communicating frequently, your mind starts to say, we're building something. Your heart starts to say, this feels good. But your reality has not had a chance to say anything yet, because you actually haven't met the person in reality. So we definitely want to make sure that you do that fairly quickly, because nothing has been tested yet when you're on the phone and when you're online.
Right.
Um, so let's make this real clear. The conversation is easy. They're attentive. They text you in the morning. They check on you throughout the day. They're starting to share, and then all of a sudden, again, you see something that doesn't quite align with how they are representing themselves. We find it really hard sometimes to just let go, and that could lead us into an ugly situation because we don't owe anybody anything. The truth is you're really attached, but you're not you that to something that hasn't been proven yet. So you want to make sure that there's clarity versus confusion. And so the ugly thing is when we get in situations and we're really confused about it. So I want to really quickly say how to recognize quality versus the confusion online. So quality looks like they're being clear, they're consistently communicating, their intentions are clear. This is one of the things that Demi and I have talked about too. If you're dating intentionally and you want something long term, or you want to have a relationship with somebody, a serious relationship, their intentions need to be clear. Now, does that mean you and that person are going to end up in a serious relationship? Maybe not. But what you want is that at least your both of your end goals are the same. Why would you want to be intentional with someone and say, I want a relationship, I'm looking for something serious, yet they're saying, well, they just want something casual? So be clear on what their intentions are. And if quality looks like they follow through with what they say, hey, I'm at work, but I'm going to call you at 6 o'clock when I get home. Okay. Quality looks like they respect your time and your boundaries. Hey, I know you said you'd go to bed at 9 o'clock, so I'm not going to talk to you at 9 o'clock. You can start seeing things early, even online, how they are respecting you, as opposed to the confusion when they're hot and cold behavior. They are delayed and not inconsistent. They're not responding. They're vague in their answers. You're trying to have a communication conversation and communicating, and they're very vague. Be careful, because this is someone you might want to say, this could really lead me down into a situation that's an ugly situation. So remember to be able to watch. I always say we have two ears, two eyes, two ears, and one mouth for a reason. To listen, to watch closer, and to sometimes talk less. Sometimes just listen and gather information, because you will be surprised at the stuff people will tell you out of their mouths if we just listen and receive. Right, Demi?
Absolutely. Because online dating isn't all bad, but it does require, like you said, wisdom, patience, self awareness. And the goal isn't really just to meet someone, it's to
Mm-mm.
meet the right
Right,
someone
someone.
in a healthy way. And part of what we're giving you is, remember, a goal without a plan is just
Mm-mm.
a wish.
Yes, I love
So
that.
let's
So,
put
yeah.
our plan in place. Let's do that. DM us. Um, this is encouragement. We really want to encourage you all. We can do it. If we can do it, we can all do it. If
Yes.
we can do
Yes.
it, we can all do it. Did I
Yes.
say
Yes.
that right?
We're in this together. You have coaches, you have people that are going to help walk you through this. All right. Because quality brings clarity. And you want something you want quality and clarity. You want someone that's consistent, and you don't want confusion, because confusion brings anxiety. All right. So thanks again for joining us. We have had a good time as usual. We see lots of comments over here. We will definitely go back and listen to those, read those comments, and see what you guys have to say. I really appreciate it. So we are excited that, remember, you can look for all of our handles, all of our social media handles. Please make sure that you click like, share, come back, tell your other friends about dating differently. I know y'all are getting some great nuggets, and we want to continue to make sure that we give that to you. All right. All right. So if you are watching again, we want you to know that every Wednesday. We moved to Wednesdays now at 7:30. So make sure you set your times and you set your alarms and set your clocks. All right. All right.
So we know date with clarity, move with intention, and choose with content.
Yes. And make sure that you join us because we want you to date differently.
Have a great night. See you all later.
Bye bye.